Guess who's back? Yes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome once again back to the channel with me, Disco, coming at you with another live stream in front of the cans, bottles on the bar. I'm still calling it Disco Arms. Yeah, it's been a week or so. Feels like longer. Wasn't particularly well last week. I mean, I wasn't from death's door or nothing. Yeah, wasn't really into much drinking last week. Hope you guys have all been good and had a great weekend. First in, Simo, cheers for popping in. Good to see you. As always, as well as Mr. Wilson, Jugman, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in. Hope you've all got a beer on a Monday night. No worries if not. It's not compulsory, as I always say. Yeah, well, I'm feeling a bit better today, generally after a long weekend. It wasn't particularly heavy weekend drinks-wise, but again, working hard, you know the score. Standing outside all the day on the bar on Sunday. It was very, very busy with this beautiful weather we've been having. Got a lot done. Got through quite a lot of beer. Didn't really have much myself yesterday. But then I was looking in the old beer stash today and I thought, well, we should get back onto it, really. It's Monday. We need another Monday club. Rob, also, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in. For a school night sup on a Monday club. Let me go straight in then in that case, because I've got a big beer to get through. First of all, for beer number one, please. And that beer is a big can. Loving the big cans. It's from the Czech Republic, from a brewery called Bohemia Regent. It's a 5% premium Pilsner, they call it. I think it's called Trebon because it doesn't sound like a very Czech word, so I don't think that means anything, but it is on the front of the can. Going to use me old faithful Bohemia Regent glass. It was very kindly donated to me by the brewery on Czech Beer Day of last year. You might have seen that live stream. Try and put it above afterwards if you haven't. So, big old handle tankard. Get it all into the glass. And hopefully somebody is reminding me, as always, a photo. So, yeah, you get the big old can with the big old Bohemia Regent handle. Let's line that up nicely. See how we get on the photograph. Yeah, looks good in the glass already, not just because it's a Bohemia Regent glass. Nice golden colour with good head development. I know the Czechs like their handles and stuff like that, but that looks quite a wide-lipped glass for my liking. I'd already imagined it would prefer the thinner style, but good golden colour on the beer, so, and the head sticking around, as you would expect. That slips seamlessly back into the old ways. Not really a lot of change. Not a big fan of change, but as you probably noticed, I changed a bit of tunage at the start to make it more interesting. Yeah, looks good on the picture there. Nice. So, as you may or may not know, I do like a little bit of Czech beer here and there. Like I say, going to Czech Beer Day last year, and previous year, standing in the garden of the Czech Embassy, supping from this very glass. What I can't understand about this glass is, as a right-handed person, I think it's a left-handed glass. You can kind of see. Yeah, so most Czech beer is going to be fairly clear. So you can see the logo, but if I'm standing here drinking, can't really see the logo unless I'm drinking left-handed. It's a minor grumble. It's not a problem. Big golden ale kind of maltiness on the pour. Not massive on the carbonation. I think it's because of the wide body on the glass. No, you can see them racing up the glass now, but it's a darker golden colour on the glass, so I'm not entirely sure. It smells good. Let's get it down in throat. Cheers and enjoy the beers, or as I would say, la zdravie. Wow. I'm never sure about the term premium beer. If you get premium best bitter or premium Pilsner, I generally think it's going to be quite strong, and it does taste a bit stronger than the 5% there. It's got a nice kind of, like I say, kind of amber beer maltiness on it. A little bit of kind of rough kind of honey. It's not smooth by any means, but that kind of maltiness is kind of coming through. There's no citrus or nothing on it, no kind of hoppiness. A little bit of kind of breadiness there, kind of going towards kind of a little bit of sweetness on the bread, like a brioche or something like that. But a solid Pilsner, although it doesn't really feel so much like a Pilsner that I would generally think about. Because of that kind of golden colour, it's kind of much darker. It feels like a much more like, say, an amber kind of ale. Drinking a Fuller's Golden Pride. Well, never mind, you can't have everything. I'd be honest, I've never tried one. I should really, because I don't like Pride at all. So I've always given the Golden Pride a swerve because it just looks like old Golden Hen to me. And maybe I should at some point give it a go. Maybe when next I get down to Fuller's or something like that. But fair play. I know you love the fillers there, Mr. Wilson. So fair enough. 8.5%. Fair play. I'm similar to golden foil topping it. Found it pleasant enough and outside. Yeah, no, that is a good point. And sometimes on Pilsners, I do find that. Like I say, there is different things to find on this one because it's not, it's not got the lightness and the crispness of a traditional kind of Pilsner. Like I say, there's more kind of amber note going on. More breadiness, a bit of thickness, but it has got that kind of crisp back end of a Pilsner. Fresh lemon juice with ice. Trying to fight this, buddy. Right, yeah, another one. There's a lot of it about at the moment. Fresh lemon juice. Surely it's meant to be like hot lemon juice with honey and some whiskey, depending on your choice of ailments to alleviate. I don't know, but yeah, fair enough. Perfectly drinkable though, not as cold as I probably should have put it, but there's reasons for that. I can't bother to go into that now. I assume most of this will probably be Czech, and my Czech only extends to Nastrovian. I used to know 2 beers, please, and I can't remember the decree. Why did it say US Regent Premium Pilsner? Ingredients: artisan well water. It must, it's premium, so it must be artisan well water rather than just your regular old water. It doesn't say the hops. Entirely unnecessary government warning about Surgeon General and not drinking. The Czechs are one of the biggest drinkers in the world, I believe. Pivovar, Bohemia, Regent, Czech Republic. Oh, here we go. Here's some English. This is good. The Bohemia Regent Brewery is one of the oldest in the world and is one of the cultural heritage landmarks of the Czech Republic. The brewery was established in 1379 in the castle of the southern Bohemian town of Trebon. Hence, Trebon. I did say it didn't sound very Czech. It sounded more French. It remains independent and family-owned after 600 years, while still strictly adhering to traditional Czech brewing methods. They have a very similar thing to the Germans, although that is being stretched in a lot of cases now. I don't think they're as strict as the Germans. It just says on the pale. 28th of the 3rd, 2026. Nice long date in a nice tall can. Pivo Petra. Amber Lager was the one I had, if I recall. There are numerous small breweries in the Czech Republic. I don't know them all. That's one I don't necessarily know. I haven't really come across. But yeah, again, same as here, really. There's a whole innumerable bunch of small and medium-sized breweries. There are a lot of breweries in the Czech Republic because they are big drinkers, and each little regional town, and in some cases villages, I think, have got a brewery. In many cases, more than one. Chris Ford, welcome. Thanks for popping in for a little bit of a Czech beer in this. I believe that's a good question, actually. I've been getting far too much beer, so it's either It was either one of the left field orders. No, it was Trembling Madness. A couple of weeks back, so it hasn't sat in my stash too long. Trembling Madness are pretty good for Czech beer. They've often got some smaller and more unusual ones. It's not just Budvar and Pilsner Urquell. In fact, I haven't got any Pilsner Urquell. But yeah, a lot of Bohemia Regent, and one or two of the others I've featured on this channel have come from Trembling Madness in York. And I've got to say, a really, really good price. I don't know how much this was, but it wasn't much, and all for £3, I don't believe. Yeah, cheers for that, Chris. I can't say anything too much more about it. As I say, a premium Pilsner. Definitely got that premium Pilsner kind of strength to it, despite only being 5%. Yeah, it's more amber than a Pilsner for me, I would think. But yeah, bready maltiness, nice kind of carbonation. And good old wrongly handled Pilsner Regent glass. It's proper chunky. It feels like you're drinking. Do you know what I mean? Fresh beer. Yeah, I know. It happens. It happens. I have started ordering beers purely because I want to squeeze them into a theme as well. So I've got a few fresh beers coming out this year. I've still got plenty of out-of-date ones to get through, and I will do at some point if I can keep this live stream up. This one I actually bought. I was going to do it pre-football because it's a green can. So I was going to do it pre-football, but I don't think I've got a lot of pre-football streams to actually squeeze in. We've got one next week, and I don't think I'll get to do a pre-show on it because it's Wednesday, and I'll probably be at the brewery. So, and then I don't know if I do the ones at Easter, but £2.99. There you go. Yeah, I knew it was around about that. It's good, good checking. Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of the Czech stuff is kind of around about that, and even some of the UK pilsners, when you're paying £4, £5, £6 or whatever, maybe. When the Czech beers are there on import, they're worth a look, especially like Trembling Madness. Now that's a very good point. I was going to come on to there, David. The Turning Point Custards due the end of April. I got them on Tap Takeover down there. Yeah, so I did that last week. The last live I did before About Our Wellness took last week off. And by the way, the first one has been announced as well. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Wilson, I think it was you that got the nail bang squarely on the head with them, because the first one up, I'm not sure if it's the yellow matter custard or the pink matter custard, but I believe you suggested they might be rhubarb in the offering. And indeed, there is rhubarb in the offering, which is the first one they announced yesterday. So if you've got any lottery numbers for this week, I'd be very interested in hearing about that. Obviously, I agreed with you and actually put that on there, one of the little teaser ones. But yeah. So yeah, first one up, rhubarb and custard pale, which is not the colour of custard. So that must be the red one or the pink one, the pink matter custard coming out. Obviously, Yorkshire are fairly well known for rhubarb growing, especially this time of year, I believe. Although I'm not sure whether Knaresborough's in the rhubarb triangle. I'm not sure. I mean, Yorkshire geography particularly. I know the towns. But yeah, rhubarb and custard. Sounds good to me. It's a natural bedfellow, isn't it? No, I think that was actual custard. I don't think that was the bit. That was actual custard with some rhubarb in it. But even so, it should be good. Let's get through this one. I say I've had a few Bohemia Regent beers before. I kind of love the name and I love the styling on the can. It looks, old traditional kind of Czech. I was looking briefly through that live stream from the Czech Republic, on Czech soil at the Czech embassy the other day, and I didn't actually review a Bohemia Regent beer. I think I had them first up. That's where I got the glass from. And then I went back to them at the end and they said, I'll keep the glass. And I never put down any reviews. I believe I had one on, maybe I got one on Instagram, but I don't think I actually did any video review on it on that live stream. But generally, the beers I've had from Bohemia Regent have been pretty solid. If, as Simo points out, nothing necessarily stunningly outstanding. Like, I could say that Death Matter custard last week. I looked at the review of that again today, and it was absolutely delightful. This one, perfectly decent. I could say that kind of bready amberness was a little bit surprising, but again, solid Czech lager, I think. Probably should add a little bit colder. Would have been better earlier on this evening. So I'm just looking for that. What did I review? Oh, there we go. Actually, I think I've shown this one before. On the Bohemia Regent, I didn't note what beer it was though. But it does look a little bit dark as well. I can't remember what we had there now. Chris will probably know if he's still in chat to let us know. But yeah, have that big old kind of beer pump and a beer glass. So yeah, solid Czech lager. Balance has new release, the Triangle. I see, rhubarb wild, nice, yeah. So there might be a few rhubarb beers coming out. Still got those beetroot beers to do, including that Czech one. Actually, I've got to I meant to do an order over the weekend, but there's another beetroot beer coming out of New Bristol that I'm thinking about adding to that mix. 3 beers on a stream with rhubarb in. Is that too much rhubarb? Well, if I do it, we'll find out, won't we? Jaggers is on Binkert Hellers last night. Oh, was on last night. Superb. That's again one that's passed me by. I'll check that one out. Oh, see, yeah, yeah. You want to be well for drinking a bit of rhubarb. Nice, comforting rhubarb ale. Easily drinkable, easily sinkable though. Kind of slight roughness on the edges, like a kind of wheat or barley kind of roughness. But the kind of sort of honeyish kind of bready notes kind of rounding it all out. A little bit more sweetness on the lips later on. But yeah, as always, perfectly decent from the Czech Republic. Yeah, that's trophy. Not a lot of lacing on the glass. I'm still not sure about drinking out of that size of glass. It's a bit too wider at the top than the bottom. Haven't got anything scientific on that, but I think I prefer a kind of thinner, straighter glass with a smaller kind of aperture at the top. Don't know. It's kind of feels like there's a bit of smokiness to it, like a smoked hay kind of note. The age-old problem. Yesterday I told myself I wasn't going to buy any more beer. Now I'm sat here scrolling through Trebon. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not an influencer. If don't buy more beer, you don't need more beer. Yeah, it's easily done. I mean, I did that myself this morning looking through Tembler Madness, mate. I kind of, if I've missed anything on a Friday, I'll have another look because sometimes they'll put stuff up late on a Friday. Only looking for disco beers really, and anything else with beetroot or stuff that I can put into a theme. I don't go too mad. I have got 3 orders. Yeah, 3 orders lined up that I kind of want to do. I don't need to do. There's absolutely no need, but yeah, they may or may not happen this week. We shall see. But I've still got quite a lot of orders to get through. Yeah, too much beer, not enough me. Let's get this down in there, and I'm going to move on to something with slight trepidation. If you've seen the picture, you may know why. That's Trophy. Still easily downable though. Superb. Yeah, so here we go. That's beer number one from Bohemia Regent in the Czech Republic. Beer called Trebon, off of where the beer is originally from. A 5% premium Czech Pilsner. So moving swiftly on. Oh, by the way, obviously the theme on this one is, as I say, Plan B, because Plan A didn't work last week. And these are all from breweries, beginning with the letter B. So moving swiftly on. Beer number two, please. And beer number two, I thought I'd put that in the banner. From a Burnt Mill, a brewery I very often not overlook, because I look at them and I think it's just not really for me. And as you can see on the banner down below, this is a 4.6% called Living Landscape, and it is a Citra, Idaho, and Strata fog pale. Now, if anybody can make sense of that, do let me know what that's all about, because I don't really understand. A couple of things on there don't make a lot of sense. Let's get it into a glass and see what we can find anyway. Oh, a lovely pop on the can. Pours into the glass fairly pale. Plenty of carbonation there. Good head development, kind of soft, pillowy white head. Again, a fairly light with some kind of orangey and straw coloured kind of tinges to that. Let's do the photo and then we'll ask some questions and hopefully answer them. I've no idea. Nice little can wrap though. They do quite a lot of kind of scenic photography kind of artwork on their cans. Having had a skim through the website more than once. I've sort of looked at it because Burnt Mill is another one that a lot of people talk about. I often find they do a lot of kind of hop forward kind of pales, IPAs and the like. That, as you know, don't sit well on my palate. It's not that they don't sit well, I see hops. I see a hop lineup and I go, yeah, it's just not going to sit that well. But because that lineup looks all right, you might well ask, well, why did you buy it then, Disco, if you're not a fan of the hop lineup? Because number one there was Citra. Well, that's a very good question. Also is a good question, what is fog? What is a fog pale? I have absolutely no idea. Although it must be a thing, might be a thing, because I saw this week that Mad Squirrel, whose beer I had last week, if you remember, Shamrock, I took them down. But yeah, I've got a whole series of beers, mostly New England's IPAs and pales called the Fog series. So I really don't know. It might just be another name for a hazy pale ale, like you say, or like an IPA. Is it like, foggy as in hazy, or foggy as in like thick, like pea super? I mean, it is fairly hazy going on. You can't really see through it at all. It's got that kind of orange tinge to it. That's a really good point. I thought that one. I do know, because I don't really. Rivington's another brewery I've had a couple from and not been massively impressed. But I haven't dived into their hop forward ones. They do have a beer called Never Known Fog Like It. Maybe it's a thing. I'll tell you what we'll do. We shall Googleize it in just a minute. Let's get the review out of the way first. That head has dissipated fairly quickly. It's quite bubbly now. Let's have a sniff. And as you know, my dislike of Citra. Oh, that's my other question. Idaho? Just a single Idaho? Not an Idaho 7? And with Idaho 7, where are all the other 6 Idahos? And have we just got the original Idaho here? I don't know. I don't know. It definitely doesn't say Idaho 7 on there. It just says Idaho. So that's a question for you, Rob, and Shark, if he rocks up at all. Tell me, I'm assuming that's an American hop. Anyway, let's have a sniff. Wow. Yeah, there's a Citra to the front. Big kind of grapefruit, melon, it's like mango kind of aromas, but that kind of hoppy earthiness I always rail against with Citra. But it's in there, but it smells like a beer. It smells like it's meant to. Think I'm about to get smashed around the face with a couple of kilos of grapefruit, but hey, let's do what we got to do. Cheers. Okay, all right. There's a modicum of balance in there. It is grapefruit juice. The citrus right up front, smacking you in the face. Can't avoid it. It isn't that earthy kind of grapefruit hop spike that I always rail against initially. And once I get down the bottom there, it might even be a bit better. So it's not bad. But it is very, very Citra. Oh, there we go. There's a bit of, yeah. There's a bit of kind of slight pininess from the Strata as well coming in. I say that because we've got a beer on the bar at the moment where we've used Strata for the first time, and it's taken the beer a bit more towards pine, but it's still very drinkable. It's a beer called Very Hazy on the bar. I think you had the old hazy, Dave Wilson, when you came. I think you had the other hazy. So it's got that grapefruit and pine notes, and I am burping pine needles and grapefruit pith off the carbonation. That said, there is a reasonable balance to it, and it's more like if Robinson's barley water did a grapefruit, because it's got that thickness of body. I feel that there might be a smattering of oats in there to smooth it out as well. Mark Jones, welcome along. Good, thanks for popping in. Fog is the day after the night before. Well, I did feel like that a bit on Saturday morning. Actually, I was off Saturday morning. Still went to the brewery, but had a few pints of that hazy. Anyway, and I did feel a bit foggy, but managed to get through it with a good bacon roll. Up the brewery. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. Either they've forgotten and dropped it off. Let's have a look in a minute. See what it is. I'm going back. I'm not wincing as heavily as I thought I might with the Citra, the Strata, maybe the Idaho, whatever it is in there, balances out a little bit. Where should we go first? Let's go to the can first. I think that's the main source of information, and then we'll Googleize it and see what on earth we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I like, the brighter, the oranger, the yellower on a beer, the better. For me, I'm not against hazy pales. It's just that Citra note and the Strata. Strata's not my favourite either. It kind of brings that kind of pininess. It's drinkable though. It's drinkable. It's definitely a pale ale. It's not really going towards IPA. There's not a big hop spike, but yeah, I'm burping grapefruits and pine needles to a lesser extent. So first up on the can, it says, 4.6%. It says the Snape marshes on the banks of the river Alder, River Alderborough, over in Sussex on the Burnt Mill, so it's over that side of the country. The River Alder are overlooked by the historic Snape maltings. The marshes hold a huge range of habitats that create an inspiring living landscape. Fair enough. The beer has a soft malt bill with a cocktail of Citra, Idaho 7 and Strata. They've just missed the 7 off the front. But you can see my confusion. It says Idaho 7 there, but on the back it says Idaho on the front. They've missed the 7 off. So I haven't got to look up that. It is Idaho 7. and Strata giving tropical vibes of mango and passion fruit. Well, a photo by Jack Hughes. Here's a lovely photograph showing the marshes there. Canned on the 8th of October 2024. Very long dated then, the 7th of October 2025 for the best before date. In fact, we're going to be in date on all three of these. But yeah, so Idaho 7. Still don't know what a fog pale is. I'm multitasking. You got football on TV. There's no football on tonight, is there? It's a Monday. You on laptop and researching, making a simple DIY. Ooh, nice. Who says men can't multitask? Women say men can't multitask. Some men can. And if you find one who can, good luck to you. Fair play, Rob. That Burton Union System homemade is going to be very, very interesting. I've still got that beer to do yet. I mean, I went with the mild sexism, but yeah, on the granddad bit. Yeah, anyway, so we've identified one. It is Idaho 7 at Idaho. That's one I'm never sure about. I do get that faint tropicalness. I'm not quite as far as mango. Passion fruit's a funny one. I want to like passion fruit, but I do find passion fruit in general. Not that I go around eating passion fruits a lot, but the few times that I did, I find the flesh very nice, sweet, tropical. And then if you bite through the pips, you've got that kind of bitter kind of explosion, that bitter edge. And I find in beers, when they say passion fruit, be it from hops or actual passion fruit, it's the bitterness from the pips that come through more. The FA Youth Cup. Gotcha. I see. We were in that until we got beaten by Aston Villa last week, another week. So passion fruit I find really difficult. I want to like it, and it kind of does knock round that kind of. I think Idaho 7 is a kind of passion fruit kind of area. So I find it really difficult because it sits in that kind of bitter range between grapefruit and pine. I want to come much more with my tropical fruit, even on hops. I want mango, pineapple. Although pineapple can be kind of a little bit kind of bitter back end in a way. I just want nice fruit, fleshy mango, really. So I can see it, I guess, because it's got that kind of fruitiness, but it's still more grapefruit for me. I guess maybe sometimes I'm getting confused with grapefruit and passion fruit, but it's always hops, especially it's got Citra, so it's going to be grapefruit. So yeah. We just got some bad results. Got a good youth team actually. Youth team are doing well. So, but yeah, So let's talk for another stream about football. Let's have a look. Right, let's see if we can find the definition. What is fog IPA? Not that Google is the arbiter of everything, but let's have a look. Fog. Fog in the context of fog pale ale or hazy pale ale refers to the cloudy, opaque appearance of the beer, resulting from the presence of protein, starches, and hop compounds. Are not filtered out during the brewing process. Thanks, AI. So yeah, fog is I got another one there. Burnt milk. Fog pale. Let's have a look. Leyline is a fog pale with oats and dextrin malts for delicious mouthfeels layered with tropical fruits. Still not seeing a massive. Obviously, I want more than just what Google AI says, but right, yeah. So we're thinking it's just some kind of breweries trying to be clever, trying to come up with a different kind of thing for hazy pale. I'm not sure fog is a good or positive replacement for hazy, because we know as beer drinkers, I guess, what hazy pale means. It means hazy. It means unfined, unfiltered. The way beer's meant to be, a bit more natural, really. There was a big thing last week about real ale and using the swim bladders of fish. I'm not against using fish, whatever, if it happens, but it's just an extra thing to put in the beer and not entirely necessary when the beer is perfectly drinkable. It was just, when it made clear to make it look, well, the industry told people that was more appealing. But yeah, it's perfectly decent hazy pale, to be fair. I'm not sure it needs the term fog, but fair enough if they want to go with that. And other breweries have sort of picked it up and given it a go. What was the Czech beer like, Bud? No, it wasn't like Bud. It was it wasn't like Budvar. No, it was a little bit surprising for a Pilsner. In that it was darker, more amber, lots of kind of bready, kind of slightly honey, kind of malt notes. It wasn't, I don't think, particularly crisp or clear, but it was perfectly drinkable. It didn't wow me particularly. Sort of, kind of perfectly drinkable, mid kind of range beer. I like Bohemia Regent, as I was saying earlier. I've had a few of their beers. It's one that you can just sort of start off with, in a 500ml can. Yeah, perfectly decent, but not amazing or outstanding. But I enjoyed it. Now, next one, dropping a van off. Oh, fair play. Who's my boy? Jimmy the guitarist. Jimmy's down in Exmouth, and we was chatting to him the other week. So yeah, I'm not in Plymouth or even from Plymouth. I just happened to start supporting Plymouth Argyle 28 years ago. Yeah, 29 years ago this summer. But it's a lovely drive anyway, down there. Sounds like Skoll Special Brew. I haven't had Skoll Special Brew for a long, long time, if at all. But yeah. No, it's perfectly drinkable. It was, because it says premium Pilsner, but it was only 5%, but it did feel like a premium beer that it felt a bit stronger than that 5%. As I say, perfectly smashable. I kind of enjoyed it. This one, I would say, less smashable for me. Definitely plenty of juice going on, but because of that citrus, it's grapefruit in it. It is like, yeah, say, if Robinson's Barley Water did a grapefruit version. I suppose, yeah, there is a hint of tropicality. I say passion fruit rather than mango, maybe. But now it's becoming a little bit drying on the back palate. That kind of bitterness. That. Well, aren't we all? Aren't we all a beer snob in some ways? Well, there you go. Oh, photos. just photos, not the actual beers. I love seeing photos of other people's beering because it means I see a beer that I want. I'm like, I'm going to go and get that. That sounds good or sounds bad or whatever. Guess that's why I do these streams. Like, let's have a look. Can we find anything more on the Burnt Mill Brewery website? See if we got some other fog pales. Yeah, so that's a lovely photograph of their tap room. So I'll just put an address on so I can find out where they are. Woodbridge and Burnt Mill. Woodbridge, Suffolk, IP12, so somewhere outside of Ipswich. I know Suffolk not that well. I got a mate in Ipswich. In fact, obviously, Jake O'Beer goes to Birmingham a fair bit, I believe, because he's out that way. Let's have a look at the shop, see what the beers are. Yeah, see a lot of IPAs. See, they seem to be doing. Look, Fog Pale Ale, Fog IPA. I'm not impressed with it. It's like you've sort of come up with your own definition. It's a hazy IPA. It's just a. Are they just calling all their hazies? They're just calling all their hazies Fog IPAs or Fog Pales now. And they've got a lot of them. And then you see, I don't know a lot about West Coast, but their West Coast looking a lot clearer in those photographs. Got black IPA there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not really denigrating that. If they want to call it a hazy IPA, a fog IPA, that's up to them. That's fine. But it's not anything special because all their beers are hazy. It's a bit like we call our beer very pale and very hazy. Not specifically because that's a descriptor. It's just an amusing take on the name. But yeah, fog dipper. I'm not sure. And see there, yeah, see on the left there, Green Path is a much more clearer IPA. Story about that in a minute. Let me see what else they've got, and I'll come back to that one. I do think they do a barrel aging and mixed firm stuff as well, I believe, being out that way. Yeah, looks good. Porter looks interesting. I've seen that about. See, right, this is what happens, right? See that Green Path and Little Green? I've just remembered where I picked this up from now. So I was. Oh, yeah, so I was in Clapton Craft when I picked this beer up just before Christmas, beginning of December. I was delivering some beers over the road to the beer festival. I wanted over Clapton Craft because I wanted a couple of beers for a specific live stream that week, and I picked a bunch of others up. And what I thought I was picking up was that Little Green IPA, and I think I must have I saw it and reached to the right or something and picked this one up instead. So this is a complete accident. That's why I'm drinking a beer with Citra and Strata in it, because I picked it up in my excitement and got it wrong, basically. I can't imagine it would be a lot different. I can't remember if it was the Little Green or the other one. Have a quick look. It was a West Coast, so I think it was the Green Path. It was either the Green Path or the Little Green that I meant to pick up. Let's assume it's the Little Green. No, see, it'd be a West Coast. See, I'd be fine with a West Coast, but it has got that pininess in it. Citra and Columbus. Citra, Columbus. Mosaic, see, I'm all right with Mosaic. Chinook, I'm never sure about. So anyway, yeah, I would basically be saying much the same thing at this point. Bit too hoppy, bit too piney, just a mouthful of grapefruit and pine needles. Just place an order with Marble instead of Trembling. Well, fair enough. Still got some good beers, or was that a mistake? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not compulsory. I tend to keep it down to 50 if I can, under 50. Blackjack, yeah. I've been meaning to get to Blackjack for years as well. Sorry, what was that one, Mark? Vanishing Point. Vanishing Point was. Vanishing Point has disappeared. How ironic. Oh, I see. Fog IPA. Let's have a look. Read along with me. Vanishing Point is a delicious fog IPA as opposed to all those non-delicious fog IPAs. It was a soft and full mouthfeel with flaked oats and dextrin malts, citra and nectaron. from USA, New Zealand. Gives a vibrant melody of flavour, citrus, sweet, pineapple, passion fruit, stir fruits. I mean, it looks all right in the glass there. It's quite a bright orange. But that Citra, I mean, the next one is giving you the passion fruit and the pine. Sorry, it's giving you the pineapple. But that Citra, they say they hide citrus fruits, hide grapefruit behind just citrus fruits. So yeah, I think I would be in the same boat with. I quite like that glass. It's kind of tall and thin, like I was saying about the big Bohemia Regent glass being a bit wide and fat. But it does look good in the glass. I can't deny. If only they'd leave out the Citra. Big old stout looks quite good there, the export. Let's have a look at ley line, and then I'll stop going on about it. The Icknield Way I've heard of, and it's a walking route. I can't. It's through Suffolk. Fair enough. I've heard of the Icknield Way. Ley line is a fog pale with oats and dextrin malts for delicious mouthful, then layered with tropical fruits such as mango, pineapple, and citrus. Doesn't tell you what the hops are. See, this is my point about a brewery with that amount of IPAs. It's like, oh, now you've got Citra, Idaho 7, and Strata, and then you've got Strata, Idaho 7, and Citra, and it's different variants of the same thing. So yeah, I'm not overly fussed. I will try them, the ones that predominantly say pineapple, mango, occasionally passion fruit. As long as the citrus is lemon, I'm okay. This one, it's all right. It's drinkable for my palate. Other people will love it because it's got that kind of bittery, kind of pininess, grapefruit note. But yeah, look at me drinking a Citra beer in it, almost on purpose. I'm not completely adverse to Citra. It is my nemesis. But when it's done well, and to be fair, this has got that balance between the grapefruit and the pine on either end and a little bit of tropical in the middle. It's quite light. I like chunky body stuff. I like oats in it. I like an oat pale ale. I'm not sold on the fog thing. I mean, it's a fair dues. They're giving it a go of trying to find something more descriptive. Is fog more descriptive than hazy? I don't think so. But fair play if they want to claim that. I wonder who did it first. Like I say, I saw Mad Squirrel this week come out with a trio of beers with on the theme of fog. So they're trying to kind of put a different spin on hazy IPA. I'm not sold. I want to know the hops, whether it's got oats in it, and I'll judge how good it's going to be rather than just being done on a trend or a term. But fortunately, this is light enough to be smashable still down the back end. Again, it's great juicy kind of juiciness to it. So it's a kind of summer beer. Pint of that in a tap room there, or any pub, sitting in the sun, like I say, this afternoon would have been great, in the sun. Nice juicy pale ale. Smash through it really quickly and get onto one that doesn't taste of grapefruit. But it is fairly easy drinking, so I'm going to fairly easily drink this pretty quickly and get onto the last one. Again, slightly safer ground. I like to maybe start on the lightness of a lager, move up through the haziness, and then get onto something darker. And that's what I've done for this one, because it fits in with the theme of another brewery, beginning with B. So yeah, burping grapefruits and pine needles, man. It's not unpleasant, but it doesn't sit comfortably with me, those two flavors. So when I'm burping it, I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It's not my thing. Anyway, cheers. Let's smash this down. It's not making me wince with grapefruit. That's the main thing. Bear with me just a second. It's sort of, it's like foggy. Foggy has negative connotations of a dull, boring day, whereas hazy, in beer context, is a nice, juicy, tropical, fruited, smashable beer. So why take it to the negative? I'm not sure about that. I remain unconvinced. Maybe I'll see what everybody else says. Is fog a thing? Don't know. I suppose it's only isn't cloud. Oh, that's a shame because down here, yeah, it's been proper. I mean, it's not been like amazingly hot, but it's just been sunny and dry, and it's been all right. It's sort of an afternoon where I should have got around to having a beer, but I was doing other things. Bear with me just a second because I've got to do this. Mainly so I can take any aroma with the next beer. Try and get that pine and grapefruit out of my mouth from the fog. It's not going to be easy when I'm still burping grapefruits and pine needles. But two perfectly decent drinkable beers, let's say from my palate more than everybody else's. But having done that, let's move swiftly on. Beer number 3, please. And as we change the banner, you can see I'm on much safer ground here, hopefully. Going straight darker. On to a porter. This is a capital porter. No, hang on, what's happened there? Oh dear, that's not gone well. I definitely changed that. Oh well, bear with myself. Talk amongst yourselves. Got to get the banner right. Barney's beer. 5%. Barney's beer. Oh, for fuck's sake, you think I know how to do this by now? Barney's beer, Capital Porter, it's called. And it is a 5% of porter. There you go. Let's get it right. So yeah, beer number 3, Barney's beer from it's called Capital Porter because it's from the capital of Scotland, Edinburgh. Nice, a plain, no messing about. Beer logo, beer name, brewery name, beer name, style, and percentage on the front there. And I managed to do it again. I didn't. It was a complete accident only because of the B theme. 2 beers of the same ABV and one not too far off. I've done that on quite a few other of the live shows recently, again, in purely by accident, to be fair. But yeah, so, you know, I like a porter. Let's get it into a glass. I'll go north with my glassware as well. There you go. Why Barneys, you might ask? Well, it's not just because of the B name. I'll tell you in a minute, actually. Let's pour this into a glass. Solid. Very dark brown, kind of roasted, kind of almost black note. A little bit too much of aggression on the pour for me. Apologies. So massive head development. It's quite bubbly. It always worries me when I hear the bubbles on a beer like this. Possibly my fault for going a bit too mad on the pour. I'll let it settle a second and then do the photograph. Yeah, so Barneys, the reason I got Barneys in, and I'm sure a few years back I saw Barneys in, is it Aldi's or Lidl? But yeah, I got Barneys in purely because they had a chocolate and beetroot stout. And I just really fancied it. And then I saw the other beetroot beer, and then I saw the New Bristol one. So that hopefully next week, if I get that New Bristol one in, I might do a beetroot show because it's a nice little theme. Because I'm buying beers just to get into a theme now. After 70 odd shows, can you believe it? But yeah, solid on the can. No, let's do that. Right, where's the phone? Okay, back in a second. Let me do the photo. I'm gonna have to put the laptop down again. So the reflection of the light on the glass. Not too badly on the photographs, but this one's a quite slightly duller colour. Like the camera though, no messing about with that, just plain and simple. Says what it is. So that head hasn't gone down any. It's now nice and frothy kind of head. Nice, a lovely dark, not quite pitch black. It's more kind of browny black. Looking forward to this one, of course. So yeah, Sláinte, as they say out there. Or cheers. Mmm. It's one of those. It's one of those porters or stouts that you have to call in a question whether it's a porter or a stout just by the aroma. It's got that kind of not quite earthy, but sort of slightly vegetal kind of coffee aroma. Kind of. I've used this before. It goes towards that kind of cigar, kind of waxy leather cigar on an old leather sofa in a smoky pub. It's got that really rich kind of waxy kind of coffee note to it. Which, by the way, talking about negative connotations of fog, old waxy leather cigars and old waxy leather sofas in a smoky pub isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a kind of an oddly nice smell in that context in beer. Yeah, so really roasty on the kind of. It's not coffee. It's just the roasty bit of coffee. I like it. Yeah, let's get into this one. Cheers. Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm normally from porters. I kind of want that kind of bourbon biscuit balance between chocolate and coffee. There's very little chocolate in this. It's much more on the coffee end, and there is that kind of. It's slightly romantic, slightly poetic, kind of old brown leather sofa in a smoky, West London pub with some good cigar smoke and that kind of slightly waxy leatheriness. If you know, does that make sense? You know what I mean, right? It's slightly poetic, and I've smashed down a couple of beers, but it's got that roastiness. It's that the coffee roasty kind of note to it. And I've said this before on quite a few beers. Recently, I had a bit of a clear up today, so they're not necessarily there. But what was it? Yeah, I've had quite a few beers recently that have had that kind of a slightly different aesthetic to coffee notes. So this is a bit more like a stout, like a roasty stout than porter, which I traditionally think of as, I say, going towards bourbon biscuits with a bit more chocolatiness. I personally prefer the chocolate to coffee because I'm a sweet beer fan of sweet stouts. I haven't had one that's too sweet or too chocolatey yet, but I also sometimes really like that kind of roasted coffee note when it's done well. Not out and out coffee, not necessarily like a creamy kind of coffee, like a latte or something, but it's got that kind of slightly balanced bittery notes of roasted coffee beans. It feels like every sip's got that aroma on it. It's a little bit thin, but then the flavors come through to build it all up. And it's nice. I don't know if I'd say decadent, but it's approaching decadence of some quality coffee. And I'm not a quality coffee fan. I just buy the cheapest stuff from Aldi or Tesco's. I'm really not a connoisseur of coffee, but I can tell the roastiness of roasted coffee beans. But yeah, that's really nice. That's a really, really good porter. I don't think it's got any adjuncts. I think it's just off that roasted malt. Oh no, there is a lot of information. It's quite small. Black on grey is quite hard to read, but let's have a look. Inspired by 18th century recipes, quintessential London porter. Oh, okay. See, when it said capital, I assumed because they're from Edinburgh, it was like an Edinburgh thing. But it's a London porter. Fair play. Is rich and malty. Yep, absolutely. With a moderate bitterness. Yeah, no, it isn't. It isn't bitter, but it's got that kind of bitter chocolate, bit of coffee, kind of beans overtone to it. Moderate bitterness from Pilgrim, Cascade, and Golding's hops, a timeless classic. So yeah, I mean, Pilgrim and Golding's quintessential Kentish hops. It doesn't normally sit well on my palate, but for bittering, it really, really works really well in this. The grist is Scottish extra pale barley, crystal, chocolate malt, black malt, and Munich. Hot side hops, Pilgrim T90, Cascade T90, Goldings T90. Yeast, it says USO5. Don't know a lot about the yeast, but yeah, no. Okay, that's a really pleasant surprise, I guess. When you look at beers and you think, I'm probably going to like that one, which is why I put it on the order. Porters I'm easily pleased with porter. That it's a London porter. Don't know enough about the difference between London porters and any other porters, but it's really solid, really strong, really nice flavors, like I say, with that kind of coffee roastiness going on. It's mainly that chocolate malt and black malt in there. I say it's got the lightness of body to be a porter rather than a roasty stout. And Munich malt in there doing some work as well. Yeah, that's one I'll sit back and just sort of savor that dark roast maltiness. That's my kind of thing. So much more than the other two, even the Czech lager. I had a Fuller's London Port the other day. I forgot how good it is. This one sounds yeah. No, this one. If you like that, see the London Porter from Fuller's. I had a bottle probably a couple of years. In fact, I had several bottles on a session at my local, but that's more, I think, the bourbon biscuits that I talk about. Whereas, say, Black Cab Stout, like I had the other day, and I didn't review it. I need to get another bottle of that and do a proper review. Has that kind of slightly more particular note to it. I do admit, as much as I take the mickey about Fuller's, but they're the London Porter and the Black Cab Stout are pretty decent, to be fair. Well, this is the thing. I was having a discussion with my boss, my brewer, the other day about porters and stouts. We don't really do a porter, but we do a couple of stouts. In fact, we've got one on at the moment that's very light. It's called a Choco Milk Stout, but it's got that kind of waxy kind of cigar note to it, that kind of bitterness of the roasted malt bitterness, the roasted coffee bitterness. Is there really a difference? So it's just a name. I think it's a nod from when yeah. So, well, I suppose what takes it towards a London Porter is that hop profile, Pilgrim and Goldings, which even London Porters traditionally, obviously their hop source was Kent traditionally, whereas anywhere else brewing a porter might get somewhere more local or some other hops. You can get an American porter. It's got more American hops, but yeah, the difference is the nuance in porter and stouts and London porters as opposed to anywhere else is more nuanced, I would say, than what we're talking about with hazy IPAs and fog IPAs. I think it's harder to nail it down, really. Had a Fuller's London Port the other day. Yep, no, I forgot I gotta say that one. Sorry. Fuller's London Port for me being that's more bourbon biscuits, and that's what I generally want in a porter is that more balance between chocolate and coffee and that kind of biscuity note. But I also really like this. It's probably, I don't know, less of a London Porter for me because it's got that note of the roasted kind of coffee beans. I think the last time I made that note was that pub in Kensington just before Christmas where I had that Colonel London Porter. Had very much that kind of vibe. Much as I hate the word vibe, but I really like this. Is really nice, and there's an outlying sweetness to it as well, which is the sort of chocolate note to it from the black malt. It's just really nice. It's bordering on decadence. It's not quite smooth enough for a sort of decadent chocolate or coffee, but there's a roughness to it, which is very pleasing, very pleasant. It is a really good, really well brewed London Porter. To be fair, there's lots to find, lots of notes to it. That roastiness, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really nice. It's worth a look. I don't know how far Barneys get out of Edinburgh. Like I say, I'm sure we saw them in Aldi or Lidl a few years back. It didn't have much on the website when I did this order, so I've got a small order from them. Let's have a quick look, see what else they got. Edinburgh's longest established. Hang on, what? Edinburgh's longest established non-continuously operating brewery. Is that a claim to fame? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't worry. Let's not get too into it. The Royal Dick. Inside, is that a pub? Looks like it. Anyway, taking our inspiration from the creativity of the city that surrounds us and picking up where the original Summerhall Brewery, established 1700s, left off. At Barney's Beer, we simply aim to make beers we're proud to share. So I'm guessing they've bought the IP of this brewery called Summerhall and carried it on. Using only the best ingredients, well, you wouldn't use the worst, and traditional techniques imposed, Barney's Beer has been supplying Edinburgh's bars, restaurants, and bottle shops for over a decade. Good stuff. How much they get out of Edinburgh, then I wonder. But perfectly decent web shop. Picked up a small pack, but I think they go through another company for that. Picked up that sherbet pale ale that sounded pale sour. I read it as a pale ale, and then I saw pale sour. But it's got a yellow can, so I might do another. It's all yellow theme for that one. Stone's Throw Lager, that wasn't on there when I got it. I avoided the Volcano series. There's a couple of Volcano beers on there. And I should have got that. The next one, the Cavaltra Pale, because it's got a yellow wrap and it looked more interesting. Dare I say it? Is that the one? 4%. Yeah, because it had Citra, Mochuacre, Mosaic, and I'm like, yeah, it'll probably be okay, but there's a couple of porter. Do they say anything else on it? No, exactly what they've got on the can. Fair play. And again, I love this about this brewery that they say what it is in the beer, and a lot of brewers don't necessarily do that. There's the beetroot brownie, imperial pastry stout. Oh yeah, I thought the brownie earlier. 8.4% beetroot and chocolate cake. Looking forward to that one. Come back to that in a bit. The other one I got was this one. I don't. It was only because it's got a green label, but also because of the description. It's an alcohol-free pale, hopped with Mochuacre and Citra. No. But it before being spiked with zesty lime to create a refreshing alternative to alcohol. I'm interested in looking at alcohol-free beers, mostly because of the brewery. We need to get one because a lot of people drive up there. So because it had a green label and that lime from the Motueka, I was interested in that one. So I picked that one up. The not milk coffee and vanilla stout was out of stock. Yes, it still is. It'll be interesting to see the contrast between that and this, to be fair. But some good stuff coming out of Edinburgh. Yeah, so the two volcanoes, because it says Sabro and Sriracha. And I'm sure, Simo, you said about a beer with Sriracha in it the other week. And I didn't realize breweries were still brewing with Sriracha. It's a very kind of old school in the craft world hop, I think. But yeah, I'm thinking like 21, 22 or something like that. Fucking 5 years of COVID, but yeah, I did wander down to Lidl. It's way down there, and not a massive one, but there we go. Marshmallow Milk Stout, October 20. Oh, there you go. I think there was more. I think there was more than one. I definitely had that. I can't remember if I reviewed it. I must have done it. It will take me a while to trawl back through the Instagram to see what I did. There you go. Yeah. Mainly because in Scotland, Lidl and Aldi are quite big on local Scottish breweries. So I think that's how they got in to start with and then went national as well. So if I remember, I definitely had it and it was quite a good one. Or the one or two that I had from Barneys was good. That's why when I saw it, that's why I followed them on Instagram. That's why I saw the beetroot one, I think. So I'm quite pleased with Barneys. Do some interesting stuff. The head on that beer is stayed. The head retention is great. Little bit of kind of splattering of lacing, which suggests to me it's quite good. And I say the flavors are really nice, and still that kind of cigar like roasty kind of aroma that I kind of like. So I'm really pleased with that one. That's beer of the night for me for sure, as I thought it might be. Sometimes when you pick a beer and think I'm going to like that, and then it kind of doesn't be what you think it's going to be. This isn't what I thought it was going to be, but in a very, very good way. I'm very pleased with it. It's nice. Guess what? I've got another one, so I can sit back and just enjoy it at my leisure. And I'm looking forward to the beetroot and chocolate brownie one as well. Well, there we go. A successful stream. I wasn't sure with that Citra beer, but yeah. 3 really good, decent beers in varying degrees. Very drinkable, very enjoyable set of 3 beers, to be fair. Come up the scale in lightness. I say randomly getting 2 5%ers and one very close to it. But yeah, that's Monday Club. Thanks to everybody who's popped in, as ever. Thanks to Dave Wilson for the photo reminders. Rob, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in, and everybody else who has won. And if you're watching this after the event, you've still got to this. Thank you very much indeed as well. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Comment afterwards. I read all the comments and I respond accordingly. But yeah, thanks very much indeed. Have a good one. I don't think I'm doing. Oh yeah, I might put one up tomorrow as well. So hopefully, I don't think I'll do one on Wednesday. But yeah, thanks very much indeed. And as always, happy damn Monday Club. Cheers and enjoy the beer. Hopefully, see you for a little Tuesday tipple tomorrow if I get everything sorted and get a theme decided in the morning. I that's really nice. That is superb. That is a great finish. Yeah. Cheers all.